Dodita there in picture there with the red and black. Already a bronze medal from the snatch. 3 good efforts, 125, 130, 132.5. And on good form. And asking for 155. Dodita, watched by coach Ludovic Orban. And opens his clean and jerk account with a good 155. And interestingly, remember the man who preceded him, Ignatowski, who lifted 147.5, bypassing 150. So quite interesting to see what he actually does now. Be the pole, I think, next who's going to come in. It's well controlled, and there's a little more to come, I would think, from Dodita. Now this is Wojciech Natursiewicz. So Natursiewicz ended up in the snatch of today's competition in 6th place, having snatched 125 kilos. .155 on the bar. And the 21-year-old Pole gets a successful lift. Ignatowski, who's already had a successful lift at 147.5, and the competition really getting warmed up. David Goldstrom here in the sports hall in Rijeka, the second part of this 64-kilo competition, with the big shock from the first part, the 3 failures by the pre-event favourite Giorgio Salinas of Greece. The snatch title, of course, won by Suleimanoglu. And this man found himself in 5th place after the snatch. And he's found 155 kilos too much. It's his second attempt. He's got one more to come. So, Ignatowski, can see he really never got that bar moving, just got it onto the shoulders, but was there for a fair amount of time and didn't really have the power and strength to get it up there, couldn't drag that leg under. So the form book being turned upside down by the failure of the Greek Zalinas, who was 4th in the Olympic Games. A real shock to see him fail at 127.5 kilos 3 times. We've yet to hear whether he's actually going to come out and complete for the jerk. He can't get a medal in the overall competition. He could, of course, still collect the gold in the clean and jerk. And he's lifted 77.5 kilos in the clean and jerk. He did that in Atlanta, and that's his personal best. But meanwhile, before we see him, this is Alex Ignatowski for Israel, coming out for his third and final lift. He's 155 kilos to go with 130 that he got in the snatch in the first part of the competition, would give him a running total of 285. But otherwise he's going to drop back with 277.5. Long way from the records. The world record, just for interest, is 187.5, held by Valerius Leonidas, the Olympic silver medalist, who's here. Leonidas, who also won the European title last year. And in fact, it is 147.5 kilos that he has to settle for, a total of 277.5 for Ignatowski. It gives him the overall lead at the moment, but he's not going to hold on to that for very long. You can see here, just like the second, or the first attempt at this weight, I should say, his second clean and jerk. Again, unable to find the strength. So now the first attempt in the jerk for this very good 20-year-old Russian, Mamikov Makrychyan, bronze medalist in the Junior World Championships at 64, so 6 kilos lighter in category weight than, or I should say the same weight as today's competition. And he was in 4th place after the snatch. Struggling a little there, but pulls it together well enough and gets 157.5 kilos. Makrychyan, junior world bronze medalist, but also junior European silver medalist last year. And Makrychyan, in winning the bronze medal in the Junior World Championships, lifted or snatched 127.5, and he's improved his personal best on that by kilos. But now onto the stage, the silver medalist from the snatch a little earlier on. This is Zoltan Farkas. Started off very positively. Two excellent lifts by Farkas, 135 to open his snatch account, 140. The problem for him was that he found 142.5 too much. So he's in the race for the gold medal, but he's 2.5 kilos behind Hafiz Süleymanoglu of Turkey, who leads at the halfway stage and has yet to lift in this clean and jerk section. 160 on that bar. And a good, confident opener there. He was delighted with the 140, and so he should be, because that 140 was a personal best in the snatch by 5 kilos. His personal best in the clean and jerk is 162.5, and it's entirely possible that he's going to improve that as well. So he really chucks that over his head, feet nicely together, and there's certainly a kilo or two more to come if the technique doesn't desert him. And here's his great rival, Süleymanoglu, up from 59 kilos in the Olympic Games. In fact, both Farkas and Süleymanoglu were in the 59 kilo class. There's the head coach on the right-hand side there. That's Raif Ozel. So 160 kilos. The important thing here is Hafiz Süleymanoglu, the lightest of all the 8 finalists here, at 63 kilos 10. So if he lifts this, no problem, he goes into the overall lead. 29 years of age. A little bit of coaching from the no mistake. And the two men who in the end dominated the snatch have now joined battle in the clean and jerk. Good power, gets it there. You can see not too close to the windpipe. Don't want to cut off the oxygen. Then really good, solid chuck. Just the split and one pace forward by the left leg, and that really is well effected. Now here's the disappointment and the surprise, depending who you are. Salinas of Greece, 4th in the Olympic Games at 64 kilos. Competition, of course, won by the great Naim Suleimanoglu. Salinas behind his own teammate Valerius Leonidas, who took the silver medal. Of course, Naim Suleimanoglu, triple Olympic gold medalist, the first man ever to get 3 consecutive gold medals, now retired, a businessman. Salinas, he really needs to make his mark now. 160. Well, he doesn't look on top form. He indicated that he wasn't at his best, like most of the Greeks. He hasn't really got going. They've taken a very extended break after the Olympic Games. But he could just get a medal here in the jerk, which would be some form of consolation. So Salinas on his way with 160. He's now going for 160. He might not have thought that a medal was possible with Salinas, but he's got a bronze because of Salinas' mistakes, but perhaps that's a little unkind. Perhaps we should say because of his own achievements. And that's good. Good effort there. And Dodita, lighter than Farkas by 0.5 of a kilo, also 0.5. 63.75 is Zoltan Farkas, 63.70 Dodita. So in the clean and jerk competition, Dodita has gone ahead of Farkas. And now the pole. Natusevich, as you can see, he's also going for 160, having successfully lifted 155. Now, only 21 years of age. Young men for the future of this sport. Down in 6th place after the snatch. Snatched 125 kilos. That was better than his Atlanta achievement. And this is the weight that he lifted in Atlanta, but he hasn't managed it yet, and he's got one more chance. And it's now down to his coach. That's Zalesko, to really get him pumped up for his 3rd attempt. And the bar at the moment staying at 60. Just couldn't establish it. Couldn't finish the clean. That's Farkas of Hungary. Zoltan Farkas, originally from Romania, from Sosvata. There's the Russian, Rakachian, the big chalkboard just to the right here. There's Suleimanoglu being pretty quiet. I think Natusevich will be coming in again for that 160. I think the poker game is going to get tougher in a moment. And here you can see Suleimanoglu, originally from Azerbaijan. Just keeping himself going. Competed in the Olympic Games in both 1992 and 1996, and didn't get a total in either of those competitions. He really is a win or bust man, although I have to say today, looking at the snatch competition, I thought he was much, much more focused and not trying to attempt the impossible. And he could well end up the champion tonight. Now, what about this young man? Finished 11th in Europe last year in Norway and Stavanger, host of the 75th edition of the European Championships. This year, of course, the 176th with 31 countries competing. Clean is okay. Got a little twisted, but he's couldn't do it too much. And has to settle for 155 to go with his snatch total of 125, which means that he has a total of 280. The leader in the clubhouse, if you like, but only momentarily. And now the business here in the sports hall in Rijeka, high above the port and the town on the Croatian Adriatic, our host for these championships. The athletes themselves, well, they're staying down in the holiday resort of Opatija, which is about 11 kilometers away, but I have to say the weather today has been anything but holiday-like. Lots of rain. Now, Mamikov Makachian for Russia. 162.5 bar, and it's 2.5 too much. So the 5 kilo increase, a bit too much. Should he have gone for 160? He might well be asking himself that question at this moment. 3 silver medals in the Junior Europeans, 2 bronzes in the Junior Worlds. And these are the young men who, in the next Olympic cycle leading up to the Sydney Olympics, these may well be men who in 2 or 3 years' time will be writing Olympic news. Of course, the Olympic Games in Sydney, there will be only 8 medals at stake rather than the 10 that there are at the moment. A realignment of the category weights coming into force on the 1st of January for the next World Championships, which will be in December in Thailand, and hopefully you'll be able to join us for those here at Eurosport. Meanwhile, here's Marian Nicolae Dodita from Romania, going really well. He hasn't missed a lift so far. This is 162.5. Would be terrific if he can get 6 out of 6. Yes, he can. That's great. That's terrific lifting by Dodita. 6 lifts out of 6. A perfect result there for him. A bronze medal already in the snatch and a very good day at the office. Excellent. And he's not the heaviest, but he's not the lightest either. He's just now going to have to watch and wait and see where he ends up. The total for him, 162.5 kilos. To go with the 132.5 gives him a, at the moment, of 295. But will it be good enough for another medal? With Salinas having got a good lift in at 160. But in fact, Dodita is lighter and he's ahead by 2.5 kilos, so he's going well. This is Farkas with his team. 8th in the Olympic Games, 59 kilos. In the jerk section, he lifted 150. Now he's going for 165. This would be a personal best if he gets it. And of course, he needs to do this. He's heavier than Dodita. So in the competition for the clean and jerk medals, this would put him ahead. But he's got 7.5 kilos in hand over the Romanian in his quest for overall honours. So This is no pushover. This is a real question he's asking of himself. 165 for a new PB. Good clean. Now the jerk. Deep split, but he gets it. Excellent. So, one lift to go, one opportunity to go further. Farkas looking good for another set of medals in the clean and jerk and the total.
I wish that for just one day, Dad.
Total of 305 kilos. But of course, there's still the opposition. Here's the real opposition. Süleymanoglu, 165 kilos. Remember, after the snatch, they were separated by 2.5 kilos. So this would restore that difference. Süleymanoglu. No. First mistake. Now that really is an interesting situation. Süleymanoglu, the lighter of the two men, lighter than Farkas, but Farkas has got 6 more kilos on the bar in the jerk, which puts him 2.5 kilos ahead of the Turk. Now just to complicate the whole thing, here's Giorgio Salinas. 24 years of age, 3 failures in the snatch, 160 kilos the first time he correctly lifted in the clean and jerk. Married to a very promising young javelin athlete, Mirella Magnani. More of her in a moment as Salinas puts this up. No. And it's really not his day. And Farkas is going to draw a great deal of encouragement, just saying that he's married to a very promising javelin athlete, Mirella Magnani, who carried the Albanian flag at the Olympic Games in Atlanta, but these days, of course, now a member of the Greek athletics team. So Salinas, 160 and suffering now. Makricyan for Russia. 157.5, that's what he's got. 165 is what he's trying now. This is a real hard lift. Too much. Too deep, not enough power, didn't get it right. Be interesting to see that from the side there. 157.5. And the Russian a little disappointed with himself there. Gives him a total of 290, the Russian. And things are looking now for Zoltan Farkas, and indeed also for Marian Dodita of Romania on 295. He's got a total. And this is Süleymanoglu. Third and final lift at 165. This lift would put him 2.5 kilos ahead in the race for the overall gold medal, and then would require Farkas, who's the heavier man, to lift at least 167.5. Yes. In fact, Farkas to win is going to have to go, I think, to 170 now, because of the fact that Süleymanoglu is the lighter man. So Süleymanoglu now leads the overall race for the 64-kilo gold medal by 2.5 kilos over the Hungarian, who has 1 lift left. But before that lift, we're going to see the Greek Salinas. It looked as if it was going to be this man's day. And then Suleymanoglu looked like being the man in charge, but there could yet be another twist in the tale. 165 kilos on the bar. So this is for a medal, but it's not for the gold in the clean and jerk. So he's got 160 kilos. Dodita's got 162 and a half. Farkas has got 165. Suleymanoglu has got 160 and is lighter than Salinas. So Salinas, I'm afraid, is going to go back to Greece with absolutely nothing in his pocket. 5 failures out of 6. And the man with the broadest smile, I fancy, is going to be Dodita, as Salinas buries his head, and also Suleymanoglu burying his head there. Now, $167.5, which was on the bar, and the real point of this increase, I think they're going to go up. Where are they going to go up to? One would think it should be 2.5 kilos to take it up to 170 kilos, because that's what he needs to win the gold medal. Just to reiterate the situation here, Suleymanoglu has got 165, is 2.5 kilos ahead of this man. And if he only had taken 167.5, he would have been equal on weight, but would have lost out by virtue of his heavier body weight. By going for 170, he's taking the big risk. If he gets it, he will be the overall champion of Europe at 64 kilos. Zoltan Farkas, 22 years of age. Struggles with the clean. Now, has he got what it takes to give himself the gold? Oh, not quite. It was a brave attempt. Suleymanoglu is going to get that gold medal. Suleymanoglu with a total of 307.5, and just couldn't do it. Took too much of himself out in the first phase here. He really used up a lot of energy and a lot of his strength here, just achieving the clean. And when it came to chucking this over his head for the gold medal, you could see there the knee buckling just a bit too far, but I wouldn't be surprised if he achieved that in the not too distant future. Who knows, even by December in Thailand, that might well be within his compass. So he's not too disappointed. He's picked up a silver medal in the snatch. He's picked up the silver medal. Just checking here, Zoltan Farkas with 165 kilos, picked up the silver in the clean and jerk, and will be second overall in Europe to Hafiz Suleymanoglu of Turkey. So the medal ceremony coming up. We'll have the facts and figures for you momentarily. The jury and referees just at the moment confirming all those details. Not allowed to publish anything until they've put their seal of approval on it. So unofficially it is that Hafiz Suleymanoglu gets 307.5, just double checking that if my maths is all right. There's Halil Mutlu, Olympic champion at 54 kilos and 4 times a European champion. So confirmation, the clean and jerk competition won by Hafiz Suleimanoglu. You can see 63 kilos 10, lifting 165 kilos, the same as Zoltan Farkas, who's the heavier man by 0.65 of a kilo, and a second bronze medal of the evening for Maria Nicolai Dodita with 162.5 kilos, completing 6 faultless lifts. And Zelilis of Greece, the pre-event favorite, nothing in the snatch, 3 failures, 2 failures in the jerk, and he's going to Greece a very disappointed man. The overall championship facts and figures, by 2.5 kilos, Hafiz Suleimanoglu wins the gold medal. Zoltan Farkas will be very happy with 3 silvers, I think, and so will Dodita. He's taken in 3 bronze medals here, and that's a good performance by the Romanian. But the man who'll be really trying to work it out in his mind as to where it went wrong will be Zelilis of Greece. Suleimanoglu is passing behind our commentary position there on his way back to collect the medals. So that's the story of the 64 kilo category here in Rijeka in the sports hall. Still to come, of course, here on Eurosport, we've got the 70 kilo competition. That's coming up for you at 8 o'clock Central Time, an hour earlier, of course, for all of you in Great Britain. And that's going to be a fascinating contest as we see Suleimanoglu is second clean and jerk, the lift that gave him effectively the overall 64 kilo championship. Takes over the title from his namesake, Naim Suleimanoglu, not related, just happen to have the same name. Naim, of course, now retired, the triple Olympic gold medalist, selling very exotic and expensive Turkish porcelain at the moment. That's one of his businesses. The other absentee, of course, Valerius Leonidis, the silver medalist from the Atlanta Olympic Games. But we should be seeing him in action at the end of the year in the Worlds. So now to the medal ceremony for 64 kilos.